this looks a lot easier than what we were trying to do before at the house.
You see all this sweat just pouring off me right now? Just
oh man.
pulling down on this handle right here. I want to punch through it too hard because
It'll just bend that fork too.
Kind of bouncing a little bit.
Yeah.
Just take it nice and slow. She's almost through there now.
Oh, there it is. Alright guys, I'm over here at Skylar's house. He helped me get the struts drilled for the S1 built kit for the all-wheel drive stuff on the EK. So what we had to do, you can see on this one here, you have to drill a second hole in the bottom of the strut for their kit to mount up. You can see there, this one with the bolts in it, how it's supposed to look. That's real nice quality stuff. On mine, we had to grind the top of this bracket. Your mileage may vary depending on how this part of your strut looks, but on mine we had to do that. We're gonna look at his car. You guys would have seen this in PFI's latest video. Car made 655, and this is Skylar. He's the man behind the madness. He built all of it.
What's up, guys?
So tell us about it.
It's an IG built long block, so they did short block and the heads. Had them build the whole thing. Had them put the best of whatever we could put in there. Subaru, and those guys are the best. And then I pretty much built everything else around it. So fully custom from the heads back, exhaust, up pipe, down pipe, all of it, and really honestly just everything else.
And you just changed the turbo, yeah, because it had a Garrett on it, and now it's got what?
Right, we were rocking a Garrett GTX 4088R Gen 2, and I had a little sound performance quick spool valve we were running on that thing. And it was interesting. At the end of the day, I ended up coming back from the dyno after the first run and started assessing some things. I wasn't really liking where the graph was going. Didn't really care about power. Didn't really like the graph. There's no reason why I wouldn't have any spool until 6,500.
Yeah, it was pretty lazy with the old turbo.
Yeah, it just becomes unusable. So started taking things apart. Decided we'll just go for something new, try something different. And I've heard nothing but good stuff out of Precision Turbos. 6466 Gen 2. It hums, makes them snort. First test drive was pretty fantastic. I pulled a log and saw 20 pounds at 4,700, I think, 4,700 RPM.
That's a significant amount earlier than the previous turbo setup.
About 2,000 RPM sooner. Definitely well worth it.
So one of the other things you guys may have seen, if you remember, on the previous dyno trip, this car was puking oil all over the place due to a crankcase ventilation issue. So he solved that by creating his own crankcase ventilation system, which you can see here. And here's...
It looks like this.
So that's his old one.
And this went right here. And the problem is this is a non-baffled port on this valve cover.
Yeah, so on this EJ25, there's two ports here on the valve cover. Is one of them ported?
One of them is baffled and one of them is not.
Okay.
So two things. When you have 8 inches of hose coming off of a non-baffled port, right, into a can that also has basically no baffle, and then it's got a hole that big to try to vent any and all pressure out of there. That's a 1/4 inch.
Yeah.
Maybe I just have the biggest thumbnail of anyone you know, but
the hole's probably 3/8 or so.
Yeah, even less. It just creates more pressure in the crankcase.
Yep.
And then with no baffling, you're just pushing the oil right on out of there.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying that the motor was garbage and whatnot, but that totally wasn't the case. It was just a crankcase ventilation issue. So he built this new box, which you guys can see there. And a couple other things, tied in some coolant passages on the back side of the heads, right?
Yeah.
Or block. Or...
So just real quick on the air oil separator, I did link the valve covers together, but they're still non-baffled and they still go straight to the air oil separator. I think we just have enough hose now that we actually settle the oil out of the air by the time it gets there.
Okay.
When we do stop, I think it's trying to drain back. Got some more stainless goods. I wanted to take it back on the dyno and see if it worked. And I've got some more stainless piping. I'm gonna kind of rerun some of this and then probably tie it back into one of the other block rathers just to get a little drain back action. But for now, it worked great, held up great. I think the biggest thing is honestly just having as little crankcase pressure as possible,
right,
in any circumstance, baffled or unbaffled. Any crankcase pressure is bad crankcase pressure, so the least amount of it you can have, the better, and we definitely resolved that with that. So yeah, I've always been a big fan of Dominic. Get a Dom tune, go see him, go call him, go do him. One of the last motors I built, I bought from him, long rod motor, 2.34 D-stroker, and it was fantastic. I've never heard a Subaru motor rev like that before. Dom's a great guy. I talked to him personally on more than one occasion. Happy to help, happy to explain stuff. Probably definitely one of the smartest guys out there, especially in the Subaru world that I can think of anyway. But one of the recent things, when I came back from the dyno, I figured out a lot of things that I'd never really thought about in the past, and maybe what triggered some of that cooling system bypass was going from a turbocharger that is no longer a water-cooled center section. And the factory Subaru obviously has a water-cooled center section as well.
Right.
So when I took that off, I just plugged the port, and the more I thought about it, I said, shoot, I wonder if there's some kind of issue going on there. And then I read into this cylinder 4 overheat, which has always been a big Subaru concern. I do have EGT sensors in the car on cylinder 1 and 4, and I would notice about 100-degree difference in the EGTs between them. When you had that part plugged, right? Right, back when everything was all plugged. And I read into this mod, and it just sounded like something worth trying, so I ended up actually making a couple fittings to go back there and rerouting a couple lines. Unfortunately, I could buy Dom's water cooling kit, but I don't have a heater core, and I don't have a turbo that uses water, so I didn't have a lot of things that really correspond to his kind of setup, so I ended up just running it full blown. And one of the first logs I saw was EGTs are almost 100% balanced and came down, not significantly, but they came down and equalized, which was pretty interesting information just to see. Whether or not I ever had any issues in cylinder 4, I don't ever think I have. But
so you built the hard lines to, that's what goes to that port that used to be plugged?
One of them goes to cylinder 3, and we're in kind of like a full bypass around the radiator, so we're bypassing cylinder 3.
So there's this right here, it goes down and over, and then it goes back. You probably can't quite see it, but it goes down there.
And then on cylinder 4's side, I just ran it back into the crossover, so it will always go through the radiator. Yeah, I mean, it seems to be working for now. One of the reasons was to try to just clean up some of the engine bay. You start building these things and start building everything with it, and then it just starts kind of adding on, and gets a little nesty. So we started cleaning up. We got some more stainless lines to do. I'm pretty excited about it. I've got all the material to do it. It's a time-consuming kind of operation, but
looks real good though.
We'll get it there. We'll get it there.
You want to take it out for a rip now?
I'm down for whatever, buddy.
All right.
Ready to rock and roll. See what she'll do.
Well, we're gonna go take this thing down to Mexico, which happens to be just down the street, as it were. So we'll see you guys in a little bit. Come over here and get some E85. She's thirsty. All the time on the dyno kind of emptied her out, so
Yeah.
Make a quick pit stop for some fuel, and then we're gonna have some fun. Here we go.
Must be going too. Come on, baby.
Yeah, the trans is not happy. Fourth is totally gone. Fifth is
Mostly there.
grumpy, I would say.
At best.
Yeah. Man, she pulls good though.
Gotta get it to red line, yeah. Get to red line, yeah. But I wanted to see right here kind of where 5 see it here.
She doesn't like fifth, but that 1 through 3 felt pretty good. What do you think about that?
I need some DCCD.
Yeah.
One of these days.
She gets a little tail happy. It's pretty awesome
It's
though.
pretty squirrely. But sure comes out pretty decent.
Woo!
For being on the street tires.
Yeah.
Street.
Pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
These Mexico roads are.
Yeah, these Mexico roads aren't the best, but you know, what can you do, right?
Right. Best you can. It's the best you can.
So Skylar put manual brakes on this thing, and I was asking about it. So
Everybody always asks me how it stops after that.
apparently we're gonna check that out.
We're going 60, right?
Yeah, probably. Wow.
And I was not really reefing on it. That was just kind of putting the force like you would if you were panic stopping in a car on the highway.
They work really well.
Pretty surprising.
That's basically all we get because the trans is pretty well toast.
It's all gone. Get on the next one. Come back in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Get you set up in the sequential.
Yeah, sequential is happening. Well guys, we just went for a ride in Skylar's car. It's pretty amazing. Unfortunately, the transmission has seen better days and no longer has 4th or 5th gear. It did have 5th on the dyno, but when we just went and took it for a rip, 5th rest in pieces. So
It had 5th like twice for a minute. That was it. But it was there.
It did a little, just a little bit. But anyways, he's got some more plans with the car. Sequential trans is ordered and will be here in a few weeks, hopefully. And that'll be amazing. And you got any other ideas or plans, changes coming up? Aside from the obvious major transmission change?
That's minor details. Details, buddy. Minor details. It's a work in progress. We got a little bit of electrical work to do. Just clean some stuff up.
Yeah.
We were just chatting. Maybe we'll put a headlight in it.
Yeah.
That would be pretty sweet.
You could actually drive it around when it's dark out.
That would be cool. Maybe some
That'd be
wiper
cool.
blades even.
We
you
could-
know.
Yeah. And we could, take it to Mexico and like maybe meet up with some other people in Mexico.
That would be awesome.
That'd be cool.
Super excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for this episode, guys. I'll see you in the next one. If you like this episode, make sure you hit that thumbs up and have a good day.